I'm Dr. Isaiah Pickens, author of the book Trauma Informed and Culture Responsive Practices in Schools Building a Climate of Compassion. I'm here with Jaime Carias of Elevare, and I am tremendously grateful for him and the team that he's a part of.
Good afternoon, everyone, from wherever you may be joining us. Thank you, Dr. Pickens, for the invitation. My name is Jaime Carias. I am an author, I am an educator, I'm a keynote speaker, a transformative educator, and also the founder and COO of Elevare Learning. The last 20 years, my career has spanned across 30 states, across this beautiful country, working in very rural America, places like Crete, Nebraska, all the way to beautiful Telluride, Colorado, and all over the entire state of California. It's also allowed me to work with young people, youth that have been in juvenile hall or in continuation schools, comprehensive high schools, and youth from communities like mine, like South Central LA, that have gone on to Harvard, Yale, Stanford, USC, and UCLA. I did almost 10 years at the USC Annenberg School of Communications and Journalism, leading civic engagements and youth programs. Over that span, too, I've had the opportunity to attend various book launches from very different authors. And what I really experienced at your book launch, Dr. Pickens, was something innovative, transformative, future focused, and really a culture that I have not seen at most book launches. A lot of book launches, people come in, you sit down, you hear the author talk and everything, but this was different because just starting off with the mingling with the icebreakers and the bingo forced us to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, which is what I like to say. It forced me to meet new people that I had no clue who was there. I mean, the only person that I knew there was you. That was it. So it forced me to meet new people that are doing some really cool things within education, and just the overall open mindedness that everybody had, everybody trying to learn about how do you build a climate of compassion. We do have to focus on academic rigor, but academic
Hmm.
rigor cannot be achieved if your mental health is all over the place, right? We
Hmm.
have to check that first. We have to fill our own cup, whether it's as
Hmm.
educators or whether it's as parents or administrators or even students. You have to
Hmm.
be able to take care of yourself first before you're able to better serve your students if you are a teacher. You have to be able to take care of yourself first before you're able to serve your teachers if you're a principal or a district leader. And as a student as well, you have to be able to take care of yourself first as a student before you're able to help out
Hmm.
your moms or your dads.
Hmm.
And I think the concept of mental health, which you brought up during the conversation, which I thought was important, was that in Black and Brown communities uh, and our schools, we don't talk about the mental health. We do not talk about that. It's like your colleague,
Hmm.
Dr. Mirella from UCLA said,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Quiet mouth, that's it. We don't talk about it, right? You look better not
Yeah.
talking about it. And I think
Hmm.
today, more than ever, because of everything that students have access to, whether it's this thing,
Hmm.
technology, TikTok,
Hmm.
IG, I mean, there's so much going on right now that mental health is
Hmm.
being affected, what to call it, tremendously. So I think the fact
Hmm.
that you are leading this charge and taking on this
Hmm.
huge challenge. I mean, let me tell you,
Yeah.
you're climbing up a big mountain, my friend,
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
taking it on heads on, but building this brave school movement because
Hmm.
and I'm glad that you're doing this because you can't do it by yourself. You could,
Hmm.
but the more movement you get through brave schools and more like-minded folks that support your work, that believe in your work, that are willing to
Hmm.
pioneer your work in their school sites, the
Hmm.
bigger impact and reach that you are going to be able to what do you call have. So I think building,
Hmm.
one of the things that you talked about during the book launch was education systems when they were built during the Industrial Revolution, right? They were
Hmm.
built to train factory workers, and that's so
Hmm.
true, right? In factory, there's nothing
Hmm.
wrong with factory workers, right? But
Hmm.
back
Hmm.
then, they had to be in the system of compliance. Well, we know
Hmm.
that in 2026, that system does not work anymore. And I've been
Hmm.
preaching
Hmm.
this over and over the last 5 years that we
Hmm.
have to shift from a system of compliance to a system of relevancy. And how is this
Hmm.
relevant to student? You call it relationship building, which I
Hmm.
love, and I'm
Hmm.
going to take,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
share
please do.
that because you and I talked about it, right? You
Hmm.
have to earn the students' trust. Trust. Once you earn their trust and you build that relationship, it's all in, right? You're really able to transform and impact that student. But if you don't build
Mhm.
trust, get that trust, and then build that relationship, you could be there every day, every hour, saying different
Mhm.
things or the same things over and over, and it won't get through a student. So I like the fact that
Mhm.
you are saying, let's go from compliance to relationship building to trust, because that's really when students open up in family. So I think if, academic rigor, performance, all that is not going to matter if a student's mental health is not there first. And
Mhm.
I think we do have to include it into every conversation and not let it be the last conversation that we have,
Mhm.
because we have to hit a checkbox, because
Yeah.
we have to shift schools from thinking that our students are just checklists or our families are just
Mhm.
checklists. Well, I did this and this complies with this policy or Title One or
Mhm.
Title Three or Title Two
Mhm.
or whatever it is. No, like it has to be in the forefront.
Everything that you're saying, it really speaks to what we're looking to do in this Brave Schools movement, which is bringing folks together, both like-minded and people who may think that, mental health isn't the most important thing,
Hmm.
and help them have the language to be able to communicate how can we support our students to have the mental and emotional bandwidth to achieve at the highest level, because that's really at the heart of it,
Hmm.
of what we're saying. We're not necessarily saying anyone is sick. We're not saying that someone is damaged. What we're saying is people have gone through adversity, they've gone through difficult life experiences that have built certain skills, but the schools may not know how to use those skills, or the schools may need tools to better engage students and to ensure that they remain motivated. And this Brave Schools movement is a wide umbrella for understanding both the students and the educators who've gone through these difficult life experiences and they've developed these skills and how to use them, and those who may not have gone through anything, but they need systems in place that allow them to have the most mental and emotional capacity to excel at the highest level.
When you
Hmm.
grow up in communities like South Central LA, which is where I'm born and raised and still live till today,
Hmm.
or other communities, whether it's New York, whether it's the South, whether it's
Hmm.
in Texas, Compton, whatever, our students,
Yeah.
believe it or not, carry PTSD with them. Just how
Mm.
our military members come back from overseas with war
Yeah.
PTSD, our young people
Yeah.
carry that as they grow up and they
Mm.
develop, right? And many
Yeah.
times they're not giving the right tools on how to
Hmm.
self-regulate, right? On
Yep.
how to
Yep.
regulate those emotions, right? And it's not that students or young people are being defiant. No, I mean that's the easy outlet, right? You're being defiant, la la
Yeah.
la. No, it's that students aren't given the right tools to
Mm.
self-regulate. The families aren't
Hmm.
given the right tools to
Hmm.
self-regulate. I mean, I share my own personal story growing up with my mom and my dad that they were going through their own mental and emotional issues before they even
Hmm.
knew what mental health was or emotional health was, right? So
Hmm.
what did they do? They took it out on me and on my siblings, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And now as an adult, I recognize it, and it's easier for me to understand and comprehend why those things
Hmm.
happen to me, like as a young person, right?
Hmm.
But they carry, our young people. I mean, I make this joke like all the time, right? I mean, I heard so many bullet shots and gunshots, like what's it called, like
Hmm.
growing up, that now if I hear a balloon pop on the street, I like flinch automatically, and I like, it's just
Yeah.
fine. It's just
Yeah.
naturally, unconsciously, my body
Hmm.
just reacting, right? And our young people have
Hmm.
similar stories. I think it's vital and important more than ever, back to your question, that schools and families and leaders join the Brave
Hmm.
Schools movement, because mental health is here at the forefront today in 2026, and it's
Hmm.
only going to become more of a forefront as we move forward. When you look at
Hmm.
research and reviews from the Harvard Business Review, from McKinsey, from Robert Half, they're all doing studies on Gen Z, which is
Hmm.
the youngest generation that is in the workforce, right?
Hmm.
They're the generation that is changing jobs every 3 years. They're called like the job
Hmm.
hoppers. They are the generation that's getting fired at the highest rates because their
Hmm.
managers, who are Gen Xers or baby boomers, can't understand them. But the stat that
Hmm.
always surprises me, and I like to highlight, is that Gen Z consistently reports that they will take less money, salary wise, less money, if it means a better work-life balance and better mental health. Yes, better mental
Hmm.
health. They will take less
Hmm.
money for
Hmm.
better mental health. Believe it. You tell baby boomers or Gen Xers that, they laugh because that
Yeah.
wasn't around back then. But Gen Z
Yeah.
is saying, I will take 10 grand or whatever it is less if it's
Mm-hmm.
better work-life balance for my mental health. And Gen Alpha
Mm-hmm.
is reporting, and Gen Alpha is even reporting more, and Gen Beta more. So if
Mm-hmm.
schools don't invest, and I mean, and I say the word invest, not spend, because it's an investment. If
Yeah.
schools don't invest
Mm-hmm.
funds into students, the younger the better, the earlier the better, TK, kinder, first grade, elementary school, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to end up costing them two, three, four, five times more down the line as
Mm-hmm.
students grow up and they go into high school, middle school, high school, right? It's just, so invest early. That's why it's important to join this movement because it's more needed than ever because AI is here. And that's only going to keep growing. Technology is here, and that's only going to keep growing. Cyberbullying is here. Back when you and I were
Mm-hmm.
growing up, Dr. Pickens, bullying was done in the classroom or in the
Mm-hmm.
playground or on the bus ride back home. Now it's
Yeah.
done on TikTok and Instagram,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
here forever, and all that is impacting mental health. I mean, kids use the whole term, what's it called, like FOMO, fear of
Mm-hmm.
missing out. That's their
Mm-hmm.
generation lingo, not mine, not yours, right? So it's important that schools and school leaders really self-reflect really, really hard on themselves and say, wait a minute, this generation, which is Gen Z, your current 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, Gen Alpha, your current ninth graders all the way to TK, and Gen Beta, who's one year, 4 months old, that's going to be knocking in TK door in 3.5 years. It's important that they start investing not only in the students, but in their families. But the other thing that you mentioned, really, really good that I appreciated, is that we
Mm-hmm.
also have to invest in our teachers and our educators because they
Mm-hmm.
are human
Mm-hmm.
as well. And they could
Yeah.
only take so much. And just as
Yeah.
we expect them to take care of 30 of our babies, 30 of our young people, they also have their own kids at home. They also
Mm-hmm.
have their own partners at home. They also have their
Mm-hmm.
own problems and issues at home, right? They're human.
Mm-hmm.
So we also
Mm-hmm.
have to invest in them and fill
Yeah.
their cup if we expect them to be there 100% every day serving our young people and their families. So let's not forget about those teachers, principals, district leaders, superintendents. Don't forget about your teachers and principals because they are in the trenches every day in those
Mm-hmm.
classrooms. And if you go into these schools like you have, and you were sharing your stories with me, and I
Yeah.
go into these schools and I see it firsthand, it's like, whoa, my God, this is a lot right now, trying to
Yeah.
balance everything out. So it's critical for schools to join the Brave Schools movement because let's be proactive and not reactive. I think in
Mm-hmm.
education, lots of times we're very reactive and not proactive. We saw that during COVID. I mean, not that we knew that a pandemic was coming, but we knew that the reality of online learning was real before COVID. Let's be honest,
Yeah.
folks were learning online, but then
Yeah.
COVID made us go online fully in one weekend. Now this mental
Mm-hmm.
health movement is here. It's here present.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get on top of it. Let's be proactive.
Yeah.
Let's work with folks like yourself and your team and your colleagues, and really start having these tough, hard, lovable, compassionate conversations that we need to have.
Jaime, thank you so much for so many words of wisdom that you've given us. All the topics that you just brought up are in the book. There's actually chapters on how do we understand social isolation in the context of a cyber connected world, and how do we address PTSD and challenges around secondary traumatic stress for educators as well as for students, families, and the community. And so, you having this brave call to action for superintendents, principals, school communities, anyone who cares about the well being of our students and our educators, I think just reinforces this is the moment. This is the moment for us to be able to really take something that has been in the background for so long around our student mental health and the well being of our educators and put it to the forefront because we know all those other outcomes we want great academics, engagement in school, students and educators having great relationships, and educators not burning out and staying in the profession. All of that starts with us prioritizing these issues of mental and emotional well being and being able to have a system and a structure to do that. And that's what this Ticker program and the Brave Schools community focuses on. So, Jaime, I just want to thank you for your time, your energy, your wisdom, and for just for a last moment, how could people get in contact with you if they wanted to contact you?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Pickens. It's been an honor and pleasure here to join you and just share a little bit of the wisdom that I've been blessed to learn over the last 20 years visiting schools all over this country. If you want to get a hold of me, my email is Jaime, Jaime, at elevarelearning.io. You could also go on LinkedIn and just type in my name, Jaime Carias, and you'll be able to find me there. Go on YouTube if you want to follow my work. Just type in my name as well on YouTube, and you'll see some of my videos working with families in Spanish, working with young people in Waco, Texas, and with educators. And of course, if you can't do that, reach out to Dr. Pickens. He'll track me
Yeah.
down somewhere.
I know where you're at. That's right. I'm gonna find you.